I was hand printing these shirts and just like driving them to people and selling
I
them.
remember that moment, man. There's nothing that beats something like that. Like, I
Oh no,
mean,
that was like a
we
crazy
could,
energy.
yeah, we could blow up tomorrow or something, and then like have like millions and millions of people know who you are. But like that feeling of printing 30 T-shirts or like putting together 50 CDs, like back when I first started putting out music in 2014, when we would go to Staples and we would come back and we had the blank CDs and burn them, and you'd have to do the cover art
Photo
that you did and
paper, and
print
we'd
things off
hand
and
cut those things out. Oh man,
yeah, and selling them
that was
for
the shit.
$5. That was like that's the best feeling ever because it's just like the beginning phases of something, and when you get that first feeling of like somebody wants to buy your CD or your T-shirt that you made, and everything that you're like that $5, $10, $20 that you just received came from something that completely came out of your
Came out of
brain.
your head, yeah. You just like hitting the ground, running, and like you got your hands
Mhm.
dirty. It's really,
Yeah,
it's gritty. It feels good. It feels like
yeah, and
you're
sometimes,
really doing something. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Even
And
when you're probably at
sometimes,
the beginning, where you're probably doing the least of it in
yeah,
some
exactly.
aspects.
Yeah, and sometimes some people, I guess, can do something like that, and it's one of the first. That's why I think you got to be super grateful for the amount of time sometimes it can take for something, an idea like that to really take off, because you appreciate those slower times where the one individual that became interested in the thing that you made such a difference, because you're going from nobody even being aware that you have this talent or you have this idea to 20 people, and then you're a lot more connected with those 20 people or those 1,000 people or whatever. And when you get to see it grow, and if it takes a little bit longer, it means you just have applied more time into your craft, which has made you get better. So when more people find out about you, you're already used to interacting with the already relatively small community. So you just become a better engager or whatever, instead
Yeah,
of putting one thing out and it blows up overnight.
that was a fantastic feeling. I remember like I didn't like some of the people that bought the shirts I knew, but like some of them
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. And actually, it's funny. Emily was at fuck. I gave a sweater to Nookie, and I think that was around the time that he started dieting because it was like an extra or extra large or something like that. But he ended up giving it to somebody who gave it to their girlfriend, and then Emily saw that girl out with the sweater, and she's like, "Oh, who's this? Like, why do
Yeah.
they have a Mr. P sweater?"
Oh, it's crazy when you have merchandise or something, and then someone tells you that they saw somebody at the grocery store wearing your hoodie or your shirt or something.
Mhm.
It's like you because obviously like they don't know who that was, and you're like, I wonder who that was, and it's just crazy that people can be out in public wearing something that you made, and other people can recognize it or whatever.
Mhm.
Or if you someone like you said, like Nookie, it didn't fit Nookie or something. That's what you said, right? It didn't fit him because he was dieting and
I
everything.
think so. Yeah, that was. I mean, I'm just kind of creating a
And
scenario in my head.
someone random that didn't even know you and was wearing it intentionally to support you, liked the design and decided to wear it, and something like that can just justify in your head that, hey, what I made is generally good, where people that are buying it aren't just buying it because they know me, they just like how it looks.
Somebody
That's
at
a
work asked me the other day. I was wearing one of my shirt, like one of the Mr. P shirts that I still have, and they're like, "Where'd you get that?" And I was like,
The clothing game is a fucking hustle, because and that's the best thing too. If you're like a musician or you're a content creator or anything like of influence, you got merchandise and you have a connected enough audience that wants to rep your shit because they want to tell people like, I'm a fan of that person, and they're almost committed and they feel like they're a part of what you're creating, then they'll buy that shit all day. Like that is one of the best ways to monetize an audience is merchandise 100%.
"Yeah." That's
100.
something I liked about that too, was that it was and Oni Norman's concept in the first place was that it was like non-specific, because I
Yeah.
find like with merchandise, like a big mistake I think that people make when they're making merchandise is they get really specific to themselves or like whatever brand they're trying to push,
Mm.
and it's like you could be like, let's just take like a skate brand like Volcom or something, or
Mhm.
Volcom, however you say that. They could put their logo on something all day, and if somebody doesn't really like that brand, they're not going to buy that shirt. But if they had some crazy ass design on their shirt, and there's no Volcom logo on it, or maybe it's just small in the corner or just on the tag, feels
Yeah.
like that shirt's crazy, they're going to buy that shirt.
It's
What I mean?
crazy
Like,
that people buy brands and it's like based off of them just being like, that's the craziest snowball effect. If like you create a brand, you develop the dedicated audience right off the bat, they're want to support you. It gets to a point where it starts, stores might be picking it up and stuff. And then if enough people are wearing it, it just like by just human nature, like do something psychologically in someone's head where
Most
like,
people
I
see other
want
people
that.
doing things and they want to do it too
Yeah,
because it
like
lets
I
them fit
was
in
like
and
that
feel safe.
in junior high. Like I remember when I got into grade 7 and I was like, okay, I'm not, because I used to wear a lot of like soccer jerseys and stuff because that was what I was interested in. And I remember just seeing some people a few grades ahead of me wearing, like you said, like Volcom or like MLB hats. And that was like the weirdest thing to me when people would wear like like they would wear like basketball jerseys and baseball hats, and I knew they didn't watch baseball or basketball, and they weren't even fans of the teams that they were wearing on the hats. Like that was like a really hard concept for me to wrap my brain around when I was like 12, because I just felt like if you were going to wear anything, you had to you had to know what you were wearing. I couldn't believe that people could be that fake, not fake, but like just that, I don't know, like
It
fraud.
is, it is it is fakeness. It's fakeness to fit in. It just makes people feel safe.
But I went, I remember finding a website, me and Brandon Carey were like, man, we're going to get these MLB hats, bro. And we like got a bunch of like ones that weren't, they were like knockoff ones. We got like 5 each for like $20. And it was like, we were stoked. And like some basketball jerseys and shit too. I remember when I was in grade 7 too, I thought like I just like, I didn't know where everyone was wearing American Eagle and Hollister. I was like, I did not get the memo that we had to be rocking the American Eagle right now.
The best shoes I ever had were a pair of American Eagle shoes, and like I never knew that they even made shoes, but they were like these leather fucking white
Yes,
shoes that I had. They were
me too.
so comfy and they lasted forever.
Man, I had a pair of American Eagle shoes that I got years ago, and they did last a long time. Like I got them, and I had better shoes at the time. I think they were only like, those shoes were super cheap. They were like $20 or whatever. I think someone like my grandmother might have gave them to me or something. I already had my everyday shoes, so I didn't wear them. But then a few years down the road, I was like, man, I'm gonna rock these. They look kind of like those Ralph Lauren polo shoes that you used to see in the mall and shit.
Yeah.
And they lasted. Yeah, the American Eagle shoes lasted forever. And I'm pretty sure they were like Payless shoe store
Yep.
shoes. Like that's where
Oh,
they
dude,
were
we
sold.
probably had the same shoes.
Mine were red. Were yours
Mine
blue?
were white.
Oh, okay. I think I
Mine were like
remember those.
white leather shoes, but they were probably the longest lasting pair of shoes I ever had in my life.
Mm.
But